This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Just to see if there was comments from the board, with the idea that we'd have one final meeting today. And then tonight, if we're all in agreement, the plan committee will approve it. And then we'll send it officially to the board. Excuse me. And they'll set it for public hearing in 2 weeks. Going to the board, excuse me. 2 weeks ago, I received some written comments from Carly that I'd like to go through. But then before we get to that, I just ask if anyone else on the plan committee had any final thoughts or specific comments about the ordinance as it sits now.
Ken, are you planning to kind of walk through it one more time? I mean,
No.
Okay. All right, so that makes this question a little more important. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
No, I
now or
wasn't gonna
never.
walk through it again. Yeah, well, we've walked through it several times.
Yeah, I know. I just, yeah. Okay. I didn't know what your plan was.
So, no, I thought if someone comes, with a comment or a question, we can deal with it.
Well, as long as Rick's okay with the intent preamble. Yeah. I think so.
Okay. Then let's go to Carly's comments. And that I can kind of read through and then we can talk about them. Those were the only comments I received from anybody on the board. And she suggests an A, footprints. I guess section A. Footprints of interior space, see definition 17.09 in the PW district can be modified so long as there is no increase in width as measured parallel to State Highway 42 of the residence or accessory building and no increase in total footprint. And she suggested, instead of the last use of footprint, I think square foot makes more sense. So why don't we go back first to the definition in 1709 of footprint. The area of a single horizontal plane bounded by the exterior walls of the building expressed in square feet. And then see 1724 for attached garage exemption. So we're saying specifically there, we say both the word area, but the area expressed in square feet. So then going back to where Carly references, that'd be section 8A1. Footprints, okay. And she's suggesting in the second, I guess the last word, footprint, and no increase in total footprint, no increase in total square feet. In a way, I look at a definition and think that the word footprint is measured in square feet.
Exactly. I think it's introduced, it's possibly introducing confusion. Why did we change to square foot? Are we trying to measure something else? When in fact, it's trying to say the same thing in a different word.
Right.
I look at it's kind of like ordinance speak. Footprint and not square foot. And add the definition right there.
And I really.
Microphones, everybody.
I re- I really hesitate.
Microphone, not that I should talk.
I really hesitate to take footprint out.
Yeah, and just to repeat what I said, I think you're in ordinance speak using footprints, and it's well defined right in the ordinance, so I agree. I think we're okay the way it is.
Any other thoughts, or? Rick?
Yeah, I think, agree with what everybody said. I think that if you introduce a change in the wording there might be some confusion thinking that we're talking about the square footage of the structure as a whole. The size of the place as a whole, when we're using the word footprint intentionally. It's a term of art that's very specific for this ordinance. So I think I agree with what everybody has said.
Okay. Because I intend to get back to Carly on this and let her know our thought process. Okay. Then her second comment was B, footprints of attached garages. Footprints of attached garages can be modified so long as there is no increase in the width as measured parallel to State Highway 42 and no increase in the total footprint. Instead of last use of footprint, I think square footage makes more sense.
That's the same.
I think it's the
thing.
same argument that
Well,
we intentionally wanted to stick with the word footprint.
Well, we also have no upper level will be allowed over the reclaimed square footage.
Okay,
no.
So,
no upper level. Well, we hate to say, okay.
Well,
But see, that's
but
reclaimed as only part of
right,
footprint.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's talking about something else.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not the footprint, it's the square footage of the upper level.
right, and that's,
Something,
she's
yeah.
not suggesting, well, that already says square footage, but it's the same really common as the first one. Okay. Comment C, footprints in the PW district cannot be increased with the total exception, consideration given a principal building footprint, and then possibly square foot increases when existing accessory buildings are to be removed. The footprint, again, square foot, of the accessory building may be reclaimed or combined with the principal building, providing there's no increase in the width of the footprint as measured parallel of the principal building. And then no upper level will be allowed over the reclaimed square footage of the accessory building. I think, to me, that one just goes exactly back to definition. We define that the footprint is in square footage, so it's kind of repetitious.
Hey, oh, sorry. Yeah, now I'm reading that sentence, the sentence that starts consideration given. And I think, again, this is sort of, as BD said, ordinance speak, but that just seems like an awkward sentence. It's really not a sentence. Consideration is given or will be given to principal building footprint increases.
Why don't we go to that part of the ordinance
Yeah.
to
Or.
make sure she's got it
I'm
restated?
introducing something different than Carly's here, Ken.
Right, but I wanted to make sure she's got it stated correctly.
Okay, all right.
Okay, it is.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're on 8AIC, where it starts after a colon, consideration given. Go ahead, Andy, on your comment on
Well, I
that.
get it, that the footprint cannot be increased with the following exception. So here's the exception. Consideration given, and I think we can talk that way in ordinance language, but it's still kind of awkward. And I'm also struck by Carly's commentary that she said, I understand it better now that I'm reading it over
Oh,
again.
Yeah,
Yeah, some of this takes 2 or 3 runs to kind of get. And this is a good example of kind of saying it awkwardly. I don't know if we just come out and say footprint can be increased only, or no, what are we trying to say? The following exception, accessory buildings can be removed and their footprint added to the total footprint of the principal structure or something like that. Just making an indicative statement about removing accessory buildings.
Well, we're saying consideration be given, and I think we ought to say rather than given, I think it should say consideration may be.
May be given. Okay,
Yes,
and
I
that would
agree.
solve it too.
Yeah.
I think, and that's the
Again,
simplest
not
solution.
committing that we're going to
Yeah.
give.
Yeah,
But it says principal building footprint increases when existing accessory buildings. So we kind of define it. And you're suggesting that we start out with the accessory buildings?
no, I
Maybe
think on
combined?
next read, I would say we started with the principal building footprint may be increased if existing accessory buildings are removed and their footprint can be added. Then kind of go on with what the next sentence
Uh-huh.
is.
So we get rid of consideration
Well,
given to and
yeah,
just start
maybe
with.
we want it that way. Okay, we're going to consider it. Again, that's a little bit of a, not a for certain thing.
Mhm.
Your use of the word may helps there. Consideration may be given.
Right.
Look, it's fine. I'm kind of straining at gnats here. This is fine the way it is if we
I
add
ag-
may.
I agree.
That
I
was our
think
intent.
I would leave consideration may be given.
Yeah.
That gives us a little bit of leeway depending on what they are considering.
And maybe just start with get the increases, because that's really the main subject of the sentence, right? Consideration may be given to increases of the principal building footprint when existing accessory structures are to be moved. Given principal building footprint all modifies increases.
Right.
And the first time you read this, you're kind of struggling to get to the noun there, increases. I don't know. Does anyone else see it? This is awkward, or am I just being
No,
obtuse?
I think
I-
that's, to me, that's qualifying the first sentence in C, which is, an exception for footprint increases. So that's, to me, why it leads with, this is the exception for footprint increases when, I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. Let's just add maybe to a given in, look, it's fine. Nobody else has tripped over this, so.
Okay, are we all in agreement to add maybe, consideration may be given to principal building footprint increases?
I
Okay,
am. Yes, I am.
Everybody else? Okay, let's see, consideration. So we'll make that correction before we consider this tonight meeting. Let's go back to Harley's. Was there another comment there? Overall, I understand it better now that I'm reading it after our discussion, but perhaps another way to start the section is an overall increase in finished interior square footage between main accessory is not allowed, but can be modified.
Again, or back to the footprint. If we keep, the footprint cannot be increased.
Yeah.
Consideration may be given if they are going to remove some accessory buildings and reclaim that footprint.
Right. Because otherwise we're saying there's no increase with the one exception. Okay. Other general comments? Thoughts?
I think it looks pretty good. I really do. I think we spent a lot of time on this, and I think it looks pretty complete.
I don't know, I guess it's not in this package. It's in tonight's package. When I made a presentation to the village board, just for discussion only, I had a one-page summary. And I don't know if you saw that, but it's in our package for tonight. I would suggest, I'm not saying it's great, but if you get questioned, what's this all about? What are the changes? You added three or four pages to the ordinance. It must be more restrictive. Just kind of general public comments. I did that just for myself. And I also went through it with Brent and Kim, who have been intimately involved in all these changes to make sure I didn't leave anything out, but tried to highlight, rather than walking through the whole ordinance, what's the meat in the changes? As I said, what became more restrictive, what became less restrictive. So that might be handy if you're talking to people and they wonder what we're up to and why we did it as a summary. And I am not going to be at the village board meeting in September. So I'm asking Rick if he will kind of carry the lead for the board on this, because then in September meeting in 2 weeks, what we do is set up for public hearing. So there's not really a decision made if this is going to be adopted. Rather than the next meeting after public hearing, we read all the comments, we consider all the comments and discussion from the audience, and then the village board will make a decision. So that'll be in October.
Is there any discussion in the September meeting, or is it just moving it to formal hearing?
There can be discussion, sure. You know, that I was trying to seek that out at the
Yeah,
last meeting
okay.
to see if we had people like Carly
Yeah.
that had some specific that we could address it now. And that way, now we're going to be approving a final one tonight. So we can go to the board rather with a draft, which I think we need to do. We'll go to the board and in 2 weeks, we say, this is our best shot. This is our final approved. And then we'll see what comments come up with the board. But I would hope the board does set it for a public hearing without a lot of discussion or debate. Because otherwise, the risk here is that we're back to the original one. Now, a month from then, the October board meeting, the board can do what they want. They can change this thing. They can send it back to us with some general comments specific, or the board on the spot can say, we're going to change certain items on it and pass it like that. But that ultimately won't be done until October.
And you will be back by then?
I will, if I'm coming back at all. No, I'll be back. Who wants to miss all the fun? John, you've sat through us for a long time. I appreciate it.
I've got something in play, so
Get it?
I want to understand it all. I looked at Carly's comments.
Mhm.
And I tend to lean with the committee. I honestly kind of think you probably might not want to have that conversation with her. Let her learn by the minutes, or let her listen to the recording. Because
These minutes,
you wouldn't
yeah.
want somebody to think you're trying to influence her to remove her stuff.
Okay, that's a good point.
So I would encourage you not to have that
Mhm.
conversation with another trustee,
Okay.
because that would make 3 trustees involved with this. And that gets a little close.
Understood. Okay, any other final comments? I really appreciate and want to thank everybody for the time, taking 2 hours every other week for 2.5 months. A lot of hours went in this. And I think the product shows. I think it certainly will prove not to be perfect. We're going to get a curveball again, but I think we have a lot more to deal with so that the owners, the developers, the architects can have a better understanding. And hopefully their first blush with us in the future is a little closer of what we're looking for, and makes our life easier and their life easier. We had even talked, and I guess we did at this meeting, but or I guess I was with the village board, the whole board, trying to keep my meeting straight. We talked about maybe that we should require a concept plan in the protected waterfront, but then we thought against it. We could certainly encourage, and I'm trying to think the language, maybe on the application when Brent talks to them, if there's a lot to discuss that he encourages it. But we decided against making it a requirement. You can come in with that perfect set of plans and everything looks good. and they can get on with it.
And I just want to add, I did get a look at that summary sheet you put together, and I just want to say thank you for that. I think it was really well done. Just to clarify, even for us, not to mention the board and anyone else, but I think it sure helped the board understand what we were actually doing, because I know there was some concern about whether we were making it too tough or whatever.
Right.
Secondly, I had to leave the last meeting a little bit early, and you were just getting at this reordering that you did at the end of the last meeting of 6, 7, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
And reading it through now, I just want to say that was, I think that was a great, I didn't get to vote on that, but I was gone at the end of the meeting, but yeah, I think it really helped. It was just one of those little last minute tweaks where everything kind of clicked into place a little bit tighter. So I think that was a good, but if small improvement.
Yeah, and the idea, as it says in the summary, is to tell people that we encourage them to work with their existing buildings. And that's why the order's the way it is. The big exception we can give if someone does, or the reproduction, or if you insist on tearing it down, well, then here you go. Here are the new rules. Well, if we have no other questions, tonight it's the last thing on our agenda. I believe we've got 3 new homes on our agenda. Nothing in historic tonight. So we'll just have the 7 o'clock meeting. And this will be on the agenda with that minor change maybe. Okay.
So just to be clear, after tonight, we can have the rest of the summer off?
Yes. I think,
Yeah. Right.
now, should we define the end of the summer?
Labor Day.
Yeah.
How-
Labor Day.
How about saying that, let's see, what is it, August or September? I don't know. At the regular plan committee meeting in October, which will be the end of October, would that be reasonable to go back? Because we have a couple other things on our
No, I'm
agenda
just
for.
kidding.
No, but I'm not kidding.
Labor Day.
Is that
The rest of the summer. Give us the rest of the summer
skip
off.
September?
Be consistent.
see you in
September.
Well, not, it won't be till October then. Let's go all the way back to October to take the next.
Great.
Give ourselves a couple months off.
Oh, well.
It's already almost September.
That's only 1 month.
That's only
One new.
Yeah.
But hey,
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Now it's the 15th. Oh, no, it's the 27th.
yeah, we're done with August here.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We're done. Okay. There'll be no noontime meetings in September.
All right.
For
all right,
sure.
that's throwing us a bone. Good.
Okay.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Has nothing to do with proliferation of signs, banners, all that kind of stuff up and down the front. Are you guys working on that?
Yes, that's really the top thing on our ordinance, and we had a top thing on our list. And we had some discussion about the SAIL, S-A-I-L, big, tall, skinny signs. And we have quarterly meetings with the foundation, the from Business Council. And we kind of let them know if those are probably going to be gone. We
That-
want to,
That's a good segue to October, Ken. Sorry to cut you
Okay.
off, but, yeah, it's been on the radar, and what we've discussed and what I'll be doing, if not the end of this week, early next week, is sending a letter to all of our commercial properties, letting them know, one, this is the way the ordinance is, and just without singling anybody out, there has been proliferation, if you will, of certain things, and that the planning committee will, at the October meeting, begin a discussion relative to this topic. So we encourage you to participate at our noontime working sessions or send the letter, whatever. And then relative to that quarterly meeting, I met with Kelsey yesterday. And for our meeting, whatever that is in 2 weeks, Kelsey and Lane are going to put together a draft of what a business survey or something might look like. So
Okay.
they can help get information out there too.
Right,
So
right.
I encourage her to, well, she offered, but I certainly encouraged,
Mhm.
let us, have some what are you gonna put out there and what's your intent
Right,
with this,
right.
just so it aligns with what we're doing. But yeah, that's definitely for me, next hot button topic.
Sandwich boards are.
Yep.
I agree. We've kind of, it's gotten out of hand a little bit. The number of signs,
Mhm.
so many of the merchants use more than one sign, so I think it's a good time to kind of review that, probably not change anything, but just get the word out, we're gonna enforce. And some of the new businesses don't seem to understand the sign ordinance at all. Or
Or that
whatever.
there is one.
Yeah, so
Yep.
that's the next thing on the radar, John. That's top. Okay. Any other comments, questions? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn
So moved.
in a second.
Second?
And all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you all.